seats right at the end if you want those ones for two people right there, and then everybody else will be up front. Or if you want to go here, what is you? It might be.
During today's performance, we ask that there please be no flash photography. As a reminder, there is no food or drink allowed in the auditorium. Lastly, please take a moment to notice emergency exits to the side and back of the theater. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Once upon a time, there was a mysterious land called India. It was a fine place for magic. There was the hot sun and the sound of golden bells. Living in this land was a beguiling princess with the eyes of ebony. The princess wanted to make life easier for her subjects, for many of them worked hard but had little. But her father, the king, had scant interest in the welfare of his country. The princess liked to go down to the banks of the river to watch the rippling water and think of ways to help her people, for that is what true princesses do. One day, at the water's edge, she met a prince from a neighboring kingdom. He was very handsome and made the princess very happy. But alas, the prince who had stolen her heart was her father's mortal enemy. The king had sworn if he would ever catch his daughter with the prince, he would feed him to the tiger that lived in the jungle. Everything seemed dark and drear for the princess and her people and her prince. But just then,
the headmistress found girls in Sarah's attic, although she's been expressly forbidden to have visitors or tell any more of her silly stories. You've had the girls up here before, haven't you? Haven't you?
It's not Sarah's fault. We come to see her.
Ermengarde, I remember the days when you could keep quiet, like a proper young lady. Girls! You little drudge, you know my orders. You and Sarah are not to be friends. Now get out of my sight and away to your room. Tomorrow you'll shine every shoe in the school to pay for what you've done tonight. What are you doing, pray tell?
pretending I'm a soldier. I learned how soldiers behave from my father. They never cry nor complain. They stand up tall and straight, shoulders back, head high. I'm ready to hear my orders, sir.
You are not a soldier, you are a little girl. A ridiculous little girl. Every time you act out one of those...
Every time I pretend?
Every time you do whatever it is you do, you only look foolish. Get your head out of the clouds and put your feet on the ground.
Yes, sir.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous!
Good day. My name is Ram Das. I am a Lascar. This means I worked for a British man in India, but my employer decided to move back to England. He asked me to come with him. This pleased me very much. Did you hear Sarah's words? She knows so many words. Smooth words that soothe, fierce words that pierce. She weaves words with a sorcerer's thread, and spreads them out like dew on a spider's web. The best thing about words is that we can stretch them and stroke them into wonderful stories. Did not Sarah's stories push away your worries, if only for a little while? I am quiet, but I listen much. Wonderful words whirl about me round and round. In this way, I've learned many stories myself. I will tell you a story now, the best story of all, the story of Sarah Crewe and the magic. The real start of Sarah's story does not begin in the attic, but in India. Her father was an officer in the British Army. Sarah's mother died when she was small. Sarah has a deep love for her father. All English girls in India go to boarding schools back in England. Captain Crewe put off parting with his daughter, but finally, even he decided that she must go back to get a good education. A voyage across the ocean is the second step in Sarah's saga. It should have been a wonderful journey, but to Sarah, the strong ship was but a prison.
I will never forget India. I will never forget India.
And she never did, not the wind that sounds like a sigh, nor the breath and depth and sweep of the sky.
I pledge, I will never forget India.
There she is, Captain Crewe's daughter, the one I've told you of. Such a strange girl.
Why do you say that?
She lives in an imaginary world, always reading books.
What an odd thing to do.
Let's go talk to her. We'll have a bit of fun. Good day, Miss Crewe.
Perhaps you're having a good day, but I can't say the same. That's why I must refuse your greeting.
Whatever is wrong?
My life will change completely when I leave this ship. I would like to pretend it's a great adventure, but truly, I cannot. I must resign myself to what will be.
Resign yourself? What a big word for such a young girl.
I know all kinds of words. You can find good words in books. I prefer reading to gossiping.
Our fathers are also in the army. They've come to visit our families and now are headed back to England. I simply cannot wait. India is so strange.
And hot. Horribly hot.
Terribly hot.
You have to carry a parasol at all times if you don't want to burn your skin.
Indeed.
I find India quite scrumptious. It's filled with birds, all flame and color, like jewels come to life. The butterflies fair break your heart with their beauty. Thick green vines twist across your path, the flowers ripe with an incense that fills your every breath. India's a veritable world of wonderment, more lively than a carnival, more ancient than the stars. You just have to look at things with the right eyes. I was always asking the elders to tell me stories of the old days. I could look into their faces and see the centuries passing by. See the magic.
India, magical.
India is a most objectionable place.
Indeed.
It's filled with creepy, crawling things.
Indeed.
There are little creatures, dashing and darting here and there. They're quite funny. Even the snakes have an evil magnificence. They lay there, coiled and quiet, shining like copper in the sun. Then they sight their prey. They unwind their sinuous bodies. They lift their heads, they flick their tongues, and pounce!
Indeed.
I did so love to wander about the bazaars. Everyone talks at once, bargaining and arguing. I loved to hear their chattering like magpies on a roof.
An English girl, alone on the streets of India.
My ayah always accompanied me.
Still, it just isn't done.
Indeed.
Your father should have taken better care of you.
My father takes excellent care of me.
I presume you're headed for boarding school?
I am, unfortunately.
Well, boarding school is not the place for pretending. If you want to fit in, you better get those fanciful ideas out of your head. Because if you don't,
You
can be sure the other girls will tell the headmistress, and then you will be in a fine kettle of fish.
Indeed.
Papa, do you think I'm odd?
I think you're the smartest girl in the world. You're my little princess, and you always will be.
I know I'm English, but I'm a part of India, too. It sometimes feels as if I'm a part of every living thing, as if I've been anointed to share my stories with the world.
And sometimes I think my princess is some mysterious creature that has emerged from some deep recess of the earth to stay with me a bit, to fill my life with joy. Those girls said something to hurt your feelings, didn't they? Just remember, sometimes people who aren't as smart as you, people who have no imagination, are jealous of you. You must ignore them.
I shall pretend them away. I shall send them straight to the dungeon.
An excellent idea, and I'm going to send you dozens of books, cartons of books, so you can keep reading and learning and telling your stories. But you must promise me you won't keep your nose in a book all the time.
Sarah Crewe makes a solemn vow that she will not keep her head stuck in a book.
I can't ask more than that.
Captain Crewe had just a few days before he had to return to the ship that would carry him back to India. He spent this time buying presents for Sarah.
Captain Crewe bought a velvet dress for me, trimmed with lace. I'd die for it just like that. I surely would.
Captain Crewe bought lovely leather gloves for me with real pearl buttons and so many silk stockings.
Well, Captain Crewe bought hats for me, trimmed with oh so many feathers.
Captain Crewe said they just come from India. I wonder, what if the girl's the daughter of an Indian Raja, a princess?
Of course she isn't.
Of course not.
On the other hand,
Just maybe.
she certainly was dressed like a princess, and she spoke so well. Her manners so elegant.
Maybe they're trying to keep her undercover.
From who?
The villain who's after her. She's just like the girl in my mystery novel. We must promise never to betray her.
Think of it, a princess walking onto our very streets, into our very shops. It's almost magical.
Miss Minchin Select Seminary for Young Ladies. I can't imagine this is my home, Papa. Everything's so right and fine, but it feels so empty, even though there are lots of girls here.
You're just feeling the sadness of parting, Princess.
It gives me the shivers.
The cold seemed to seep out from the very walls, snake in from the windows, spiral through the air.
I hope the people aren't as cold as the room.
Perhaps you're just used to the warmth of India, my dear. You, of course, are Captain Crew, and you must be little Sarah.
And you must be little Sarah.
So many parcels have been arriving, even the cart and pony. We've put Sarah in her own suite, the biggest one in the school.
I want my daughter to lack for nothing.
Just looking at her, I can tell Sarah is a very special girl.
A very special girl.
What are you doing here? I don't remember sending for you.
Well, we just wanted to welcome dear little Sarah.
An excellent idea, Lavinia. If you would please step this way, Captain Crew, we shall make the final arrangements for Sarah's stay. I think I shall place Sarah at the head of the line when we go to museums or church. She will make a splendid representative of the school.
I walked at the head of the line before you came along. I was the show people. You probably planned it all out just to insult me.
I don't even know what a show people is.
You'll go to teas and luncheons. Miss Minchin thinks if our show people's impressive enough, more people will send their daughters here.
Sarah's such a special girl. She's such a fascinating girl. Of course, she's so special and so rich, she won't have any time for us. She'll just go swanning about, her nose in the air. Ermengarde, don't you think our special Sarah puts on airs?
I think she seems nice.
I will put both your braids in the inkwell if you don't take that back.
But I can't. It's the truth.
If you want to be special Sarah's special friend, then go ahead. But I'll have to tell Miss Minchin how you sneak an extra cookie every day at lunch.
But I don't.
Your word against mine, and everyone knows what a dunce you are. I've wasted enough time on special Sarah. Come, girls. I said, come, girls.
It's time, Papa, isn't it, to say goodbye?
So it is.
I understand, Papa. I really do. You can't drag a little girl with you into battle. Although I would make a fine sight, seated on a beautiful steed, dressed in armor. I would chase down the bad people and help the good.
If you lived in another age, Sarah, that's exactly what you'd do. But perhaps you shall right a few wrongs here. Do you remember India, when I went off on a mission? Do you remember what we pretended?
That I was a soldier too, and I had to obey your orders. Be brave while you were gone.
Exactly right. That's what we'll do now. Are you memorizing me, Sarah?
I don't have to, Papa. I know you by heart. You're inside my heart.
We shall pretend that I'm going away for just a little time. When I walk out the door, I want you to stay as you are. Do not turn around. This means we will have no final goodbye. Not ever. Can you do that for me, my sweet Sarah? Can you help make it easier for me to leave you?
I can, Papa.
Keep your head high and your spirit strong. And remember, you're my little princess, now and forever.
I pledge that no matter where Papa goes or for how long, we will never really be separated.
I'm sorry about your father, Sarah. I thought you might need some company. But if you don't, it's okay. I'll just go away. I'm very good at disappearing.
Please don't go. I need someone to talk to just now.
You love your father very much, don't you?
More than anything, and 10 times past that.
My father's so clever. He wants me to be clever too, but when he asks me questions, I get so nervous I can't open my mouth, which makes him angry, which makes me more nervous, which makes him angrier, which makes me stupider. It's the same with Miss Minchin. When she looks down her nose at me, her eyes get black as marble, and I'm too frightened to speak.
You have quite the dilemma.
I don't know what a dilemma is, but even if I did, I probably wouldn't be very good at that.
A dilemma is a difficult situation, which we can change.
We can?
We will. Your name is Ermengarde, correct? Ermengarde. Sounds like a name in a fairy story.
Ermengarde. Huh. It is sort of pretty.
There. You've just taken the first step to liking yourself. You really should, like yourself.
I should?
You're a very likable person.
I am?
I'm so glad you came out to speak to me. That's just what a nice person would do, and you did it.
I did!
Would you like to meet Emily? She's my special doll. I named her even before I saw her.
How could you do that?
I wanted a doll that looked like a friend. Like she could hear every word I said, understand every story I told her. And I named her Emily. I think Papa and I went to every shop in London looking at dolls. Big dolls, small dolls, dolls made of cloth and buttons, but none of them were Emily. And then one day, there she was.
Emily!
She looked as if she'd been waiting for me, just as I was searching for her. Would you show me to my room? I haven't seen it yet.
It's quite,
Quite sublime?
Exactly. Sublime.
Emily should be waiting for me there. Before we go up to my room, I must tell you to be very quiet, and we may be able to catch her.
Who?
Emily. You see, dolls have a secret life of their own. When humans leave their dolls alone, they jump up and walk and talk and laugh. But they have to keep their powers a secret, or they'll lose them. So they fly like lightning back to their places, just as the owners return.
Will anything else be flying around in your room?
Don't worry. I'm just pretending.
Is pretending very hard?
No, I'll teach you. Pretending can take you quite out of this world and into a better one. Emily was too quick again. We didn't catch her. Ermengarde, this is Emily. Emily, this is Ermengarde St. John. Would you like to hold her?
Oh, yes, please. My first pretend will be that I dwell in a cottage with roses on the door. I have a sweet mother and a father who never says a cross word.
I shall have to pretend a great deal while Papa's gone, especially at the beginning. I imagine even the bravest of soldiers gets afraid sometimes and has to pretend he's not. So that's what I'll do. Pretend I have tremendous courage and that nothing frightens me. But I have a pain in my heart, Ermengarde. I'm afraid I'll turn into a block of ice while Papa's gone.
I know this isn't much to offer, but would you like to be my friend? My best friend? I've never had one before. Maybe I could help to melt some of the ice in your heart.
What a kind thought, Ermengarde. I deem you my extra special best friend.
Yes, Miss Minchin, who plows forward like a great ship of the sea. Don't you agree?
Good morning, girls.
Good morning, Miss Minchin.
Girls, you may be seated. Dunderhead. Lottie! Lottie, you must walk. You must learn to act like a lady, Lottie. And you, Amelia, must get this child under control.
Yes, sister. I'm sorry, sister.
Sit down, Amelia. You're quite irritating hovering like that. Lottie, you are late.
I don't give a fig if I am.
Amelia, stand up. Remember your position. Remember your dignity. You need to install some manners into our little Lottie, Amelia. She is not some freewheeling cockney child. She is a student at the city's most prestigious female seminary.
Yes, sister. I'm sorry, sister. Ow.
That was a dreadfully naughty thing to do, Lottie. Do you want your father to know how badly you behave?
I don't give a fig if he does.
For heaven's sake, Amelia, stand up. Honestly, you keep hopping up and down like a jack-in-the-box. It's most distracting.
Yes, sister. I'm sorry, sister.
Sit. Now, on to better things. I have a surprise for you today, girls. You will notice Miss Crew is not with us this morning.
A small miracle.
Lavinia, manners. At this moment, Sarah is sequestered with a French tutor as her papa requested. She will learn French, then teach the rest of you. Our school will become even more selective. Yes, Miss Crew is going to do this seminary proud.
Madam Minchin.
Which one? Me, of course. No one ever asks for you. And stand up!
Madam Minchin, I ask that you not waste my time again.
I beg your pardon, sir?
How dare you play this silly trick on me, engaging me as a teacher to a girl who speaks French like a native. I'm not used to being duped. I'll make sure the story winds up and down the city.
How dare you pretending that you needed a tutor?
But I didn't. I tried to tell you.
She tried to tell you, sister, that she speaks excellent French, but when you wouldn't listen, she told me to tell you, but I couldn't get your attention. You said I was blathering or babbling something, and then Monsieur Dufard shut up, and it was too late for anything.
And you got my sister to go along with it.
Miss Amelia's guilty of nothing. Nor am I. Papa only asked you to engage the tutor so I could have someone to speak French with. I so enjoy it, and Papa enjoys pleasing me.
So all this, making me out to be either mean or stupid or both, putting the school's reputation on the block. All of this revolves around the fact that your father wants you to be happy? Does your father think the whole world revolves around Sarah Crew?
My father does not think that.
I think Captain Crew just loves his daughter very much.
And I think you are becoming quite the addle-brained ninny, sister. Class dismissed. I'm far too upset to teach today. I sometimes think that Miss Crew, that little snip of a girl, can see right through me.
Perhaps she can. She seems to know things that others don't. I think she's quite wise.
Nonsense. What to do? What to do? Shall I punish her? Her father dotes on her. If she doesn't enjoy the school, he'll put her elsewhere. And his money. Please keep the girls orderly today. I have some thinking to do.
I'll try, sister.
I suppose that's all I can ask.
Whatever is going on, Lottie.
Lottie, you ruined our game. I don't give a fig for your game.
And we don't give a fig for you. Just keep quiet. No one wants to hear your wailing. Ow, you little brat.
Come now, Lottie really isn't a brat. Ow! Well, she might be a bit of a brat.
My goodness, such a sound. I had to see who was making it.
Not a what, a who.
Did something terrible happen to you? Is that why you're screeching like a monkey in a tree?
Lavinia slapped me when we were playing our game.
Tish tosh, it wasn't a slap. And even if it was, I'd be entirely justified.
Really, Lottie, you're just making something out of nothing. My somethings are never nothings. Whatever she wants, she gets. Well, why shouldn't I? I have no mother.
I haven't a mother either.
Really?
My mother died when I was very small. I've decided my mother's an angel now. Your mother's most probably one too, Lottie. Perhaps they're friends.
That's what people always say to me. Your mother is an angel now. Then they show me pictures of women in their nightgowns with a pair of wings stuck on. None of them look real.
That's because they're not real. I've spent a great deal of time pondering heaven, considering, deliberating. I believe I've come to know quite a bit about the place and the angels. I believe heaven is a vast city, surrounded by a grand wall made of glistening pearls. There's peace there and true understanding. There are fields of flowers everywhere, and the children love to race about, for everyone in heaven is strong and healthy. In heaven, no matter how one looks, everyone is beautiful, and everyone speaks to one another, for in heaven, everyone speaks the same language. They enjoy learning new things from each other, and they laugh too. There is much happiness in heaven. The angels love to look down upon the earth. They strive to make things better for those they love, but this is a difficult task, since on earth, people always seem to be in one sort of trouble or other. But every trouble is important to the watching angels, and every person. They never lose their humanness.
So many people have said so many things to me since Mama died, but none of it made me feel any better. But Sarah, you make heaven seem like a real place where real people might live.
Poppycock. Sarah doesn't know about angels or heaven any more than the man on the moon.
Hush up, Lavinia. It was the most wonderful story I've ever heard about heaven. And it's made Lottie feel better.
Are we having pretend time again? Girls, all of you into the library. Amelia will help you select something suitable to read. Not fairy tales. You will each read one chapter, and you will read 2 chapters.
Come along, girls.
Shall I walk at the head of the line?
I suppose.
I'm so glad you came here, Sarah. I think I might be a bit better behaved now. But I still don't give a fig for Lavinia.
It's true, Sarah, about your stories. They take me quite out of this world and into another one where I forget how I'm tossed about and called names. And I'm extremely scintillating. I'm starting to learn new words too.
Hello.
Oh, miss, I'm ever so sorry.
For what?
For listening into you young ladies and not being quick about my duties.
Who are you?
This is Becky, the scullery maid.
I do other jobs too. Make the fires and clean the grates and scrub the floors and wash the dishes. The kitchen folks say my last name is this and that, like, Becky, do this, and Becky, do that. I ain't supposed to talk to none of you ladies. Please don't tell Miss Minchin.
Never.
I'm a bit like you, Miss Sarah. Oh, I don't mean I'm a lady, but my ma'am is gone too. I surely liked your story. I like to think my mama's in heaven too.
I know she is.
Becky, what are you doing here?
I asked her to stay a bit so we could talk.
How very nice of you, Sarah. Take your broom and sweep the kitchen. I know you're new here, Sarah. I know things are more relaxed in India. You probably spoke to your servants. But that is not how things are done here. Here, Becky's to keep in her place and out of sight. Is that clear?
Yes, Miss Minchin.
Poor Becky. She looks like a hungry little kitten.
How can I help her? She's locked up tight in Miss Minchin's world.
Sarah ruminated, contemplated, meditated. What to do about Becky? To speak to her would only bring her harm. To ignore her would be cruel. And then fate, as it so often does, stepped in. Oh, miss, I beg your pardon. I meant no harm. I was just so cold, and the room was so warm, and I was so tired, and the chair looked so soft.
You fell asleep. I'm glad you did.
You won't tell Miss Minchin, will you?
Becky, we must make a covenant.
I don't know how to make that. Do we bake it in a pie?
It means we share a promise between us. I promise never ever to tell Miss Minchin anything that might hurt you.
That would be a fine thing.
Would you like to hold Emily?
I don't want to dirty her.
There. Emily, this is Becky. Becky, this is Emily. I'm sure you two shall be very good friends.
But she ain't. I mean, she ain't a real person. Is she?
No, but sometimes I pretend she is. Takes away some of the loneliness.
You, miss? Lonely? How can you be lonely or sad? Your room is like a palace.
I would trade it all away, Becky, to be with my father. Are you done with your chores? Can you repose a while?
I could, if I knew what that meant.
It means I'd like you to sit where it's warm and keep holding Emily.
I don't want to. What if I dirty the chair?
I shall clean it.
What if someone sees me?
The hallway's quiet. Everyone's asleep.
I always am the last to go to bed.
Would you like some cake? I smuggled it from dinner for a late night snack. Do you like cake?
Who doesn't, miss? But I never do get to eat any. But sometimes I pinch a bit of the dessert if the cooker maid ain't looking.
I'm gonna bring you dessert every night. You need a champion, Becky, and that's what I shall be. I shall be King Arthur or Lancelot or a brave princess.
Your words are so beautiful, miss. But I can't make head nor tails of them.
It means you need someone to make your life better. I've seen you sometimes, hiding here and there while I'm spinning a tale, sleeping ever so slowly to listen to the end.
I sometimes pretend myself, miss. I pretend I live in a warm house with 2 lovely parents. I toast my feet every night at the fire and get to take a bath once a week. My clothes are all silky and soft, and my mom smells like flowers. She brushes my hair every night, 100 times. I know it's a sort of silly thing to think with coal dust on my face and wearing these patched up clothes.
Oh no, Becky. It's quite wonderful. Every night you shall come here, like now, and have a bit of dessert and get some sleep wrapped in a warm blanket. Becky, you and I are really just the same. Girls who have lost their families.
You are my champion, Miss Sarah. Really and truly. You have given me the world tonight.
Sarah, what's the story for tonight? I can't go to sleep without one of your stories.
I do have a story about the world beneath the sea.
That sounds most bewitching.
Shall we all pretend we're mermaids?
Yes, please.
Close your eyes. Imagine your long, lovely green tails. All about you is a hazy blue light filled with striped fish and spotted fish, fish that give off a golden glow. The grasses wave so gently it seems they're dancing. The mermaids chase one another through the undersea grottos. They churn the water into a froth. You have long, shining hair. All mermaids have long, shining hair. They love to comb their hair until it looks like silk against their velvety skin. All mermaids can sing like a heavenly choir. Often they perch up on a rock, combing out their hair and singing their siren songs. Ooh. One day, as the mermaids sat upon a great rock, they sighted a pirate ship. They knew pirates were mean and devious. All but one mermaid slipped back into the water. The daring mermaid had long been curious about the pirates and their flag with the skull and crossbones. She started to sing, enticing them to come closer. One of the crewmen grabbed the captain's spyglass. "Look there, just there, on the ground rock. 'Tis a mermaid. If we can catch her, she'll fetch 1,000 pounds from folks just wanted to look upon her." The pirate ship lowered its lifeboat. The pirates pulled out a huge net. They were so close, the mermaids could make out their sinister faces. She swam swiftly into the water, but not fast enough. She became trapped in the pirate's net. She called out to her other mermaid friends for help, but
What are you doing here? I don't believe my mother would like me sitting next to a servant girl listening to the same words I am.
I know my mother wouldn't mind in the least.
Your mother's dead. That was very cruel of you, Lavinia. Becky, you may remain. Let's get on with the story.
Would you like to be taken to faraway places, Miss Amelia?
I think I should. I know I would. I've never said that to anyone before. I would love to have a great adventure, but if I listen to Sarah and learn how to pretend, I can go any place I want, and maybe someday go for real. Goodness, I finished that whole speech without sputtering.
Or stuttering.
Nor getting red in the face.
Sarah, you have brought us a great gift. The art of dreaming, of believing that all of us have a story and that all our stories are important. Madam Mermaid.
I must admit, when I'm telling my stories, I sometimes forget where I am. I actually see and feel like I dwell with the pharaohs in ancient Egypt, or perhaps I'm a centurion in the Roman army. Their stories seem more real to me than the school or the city, or anywhere. It sometimes feels as if I'm a part of everyone's world.
What an amazing thought. A magical thought.
How shall we end the story?
Don't you know?
I know one end, but there's always more than one end to a story.
So, is the mermaid trapped forever in the pirate's net?
Oh no, surely her mermaid sisters come to her rescue.
I can see it all. Green tails flashing, long hair swinging, birds whirling through the waters.
But perhaps the pirates summon her men. Evil men with rings in their ears and swords on their belts. Maybe one has a parrot on his shoulder and a patch over his eye.
They throw a net over all the mermaids.
And then an octopus comes along. He wraps his long arms around the pirates and drags them to the bottom of the sea. The mermaid is free and she and her sister start singing again.
That's wonderful, Miss Amelia.
It was quite good, wasn't it?
What is Becky doing here?
I gave her permission to stay.
Oh, did you? How very nice. You will leave at once, Becky. Amelia, you were supposed to bring Sarah to me, but apparently you got as carried away as the rest of them. You completely forgot my order as usual.
I don't forget things nearly as often, sister. I didn't get carried away. I know Sarah's stories are pure gobbledygook.
Sarah, you have entertained us with your pretends, but now I have a story to tell you. Your father has just written me about his new partnership. There will be a letter for you too, soon. It seems that Captain Crew was visited by one of his friends from boarding school days. That friend has asked Captain Crew to become his partner.
Partner in what?
It is rude of you to interrupt, Lottie.
Spare us, Lottie. We know you don't give a fig for being rude.
Well, then I don't give a fig that you know I don't give a fig.
Captain Crew's partner bought a tract of land, half of which now belongs to Captain Crew. On this tract of land, they have discovered diamond mines. Come, dear, we must discuss plans for your upcoming birthday. Your father wants you to have the grandest of parties.
Sarah's father will be rich as a king.
Which means that Sarah really will be our little princess.
Brave miners with their picks. Think of them traversing through the labyrinths and tunnels and secret passageways, down to the deepest depths of the earth to find the jeweled chambers.
It's like something from the Arabian Nights. I think it's all piffle.
Well, maybe Sarah and I have a diamond mine ourselves.
And me too. I won't be left out.
You never are.
though we do try.
You don't really think Sarah's going to have any time for you, now do you, Ermengarde?
Of course she will.
Tommy rot. She'll be so busy with her banquets and parties and picnics and balls and concerts and luncheons, she won't even see us. We'll sit over here with our dusty old books.
Do that again, Lavinia, and I'll pull all your hair out and you'll be bald.
I love Sarah's stories, and I love her. She's so sweet to me, and always will be.
She's ever so nice to everybody, but once she's wearing diamonds head to toe, she'll change. Just wait and see. Good morrow, Your Highness.
Please don't be silly, Lavinia.
I'm sure Miss Minchin will want us to address you that way. She'll be happy to have royalty in her school.
But there isn't. There's just me. And I'll be just the same as I was before the diamonds.
Really? Because I think you've got yourself all prepared to be a proper princess. I've heard you speaking with that doll.
Emily.
Lavinia, have you been snooping around Sarah's room? I just happened to be passing her room in a few nights and heard her speaking with her doll.
Emily!
She talks quite energetically about being a princess.
It's true. I do pretend with Emily about being a princess, but I don't do it to be grand. I think of the things a real princess would do.
Counting at her tiaras and picking at her ball gowns?
No. A real princess cares for all her subjects. She makes sure they have enough food to last through winter. She makes the laws fair for everyone. My father said a real princess keeps her spirit strong and rights the wrongs she sees.
That's just what you've done here, Sarah. You've helped Lottie not to be so unhappy.
And you've helped Ermengarde not to be so shy.
And Miss Amelia not to be so frightened. And Poppy not to be so lonely. The truth is, Sarah's pretense are her gift to us. The truth is, Miss Minchin is being nice to the ever so clever Miss Sarah Crewe because of her father's money. If he ever lost his fortune, it'd be interesting to see how Miss Minchin would treat her special little show pupil.
I promised you magic, yes? Surely, diamonds are magical. They promise so much. Glittering riches, wealth beyond compare, and envy. Men claw through rock to find the white fire. Then, one by one, their fingers are pried away. Their dreams dashed on the hope of some improbable scheme.
Presents. I see them.
I don't see why we have to do the decorating. We have servants.
Some of us want to.
For Sarah.
How are the preparations coming along?
Just fine, sister. We're all ready for the party. This special party.
Girls! What is she doing here?
She's my friend. My good friend.
She is most certainly not your friend Sarah, especially now.
Sister, it's Sarah's party. Shouldn't she be able to select the guests?
You may stay, Becky. You look reasonably clean.
Becky is to have the biggest piece of cake.
Take over, Amelia, and please don't let things get out of hand.
Never. Oh, this will be fun. Let's start Sarah's celebration. Ermengarde, light the candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13! Wonderful. Come here, dear. We shall now sing happy birthday to you. Then you can make your wish and blow out the candles. And then we can cut into this delicious cake. What does she have to wish for? She has everything.
Maybe my wish should be about the one thing I don't have and want most of all. My father. In his last letter, he said he was ill. Maybe I'll wish that he feels better soon.
Come, girls. Let's try that again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
Girls, you go quickly to your rooms. The rest of you back to work. Amelia, you may go as well.
No, I shall stay with Sarah. I have a feeling she needs a friend right now.
Sarah, this is Mr. Barrows, your father's solicitor. He has received a letter informing us of a situation that has arisen.
What situation?
There are no diamond mines. There never were diamond mines. Captain Kuhn is firm taken by a clever swindler. Miss Minchin, you will not receive a check from Captain Kuhn this month, or ever.
But what about the rest of his fortune?
He poured it all into the mines. His money's gone.
Gone, all gone, after all I've done for this girl, all I've paid for. This is how I'm treated? This ridiculous party and the stupid dress and all the presents. And now I'm told there is no money?
Mr. Burrows, doesn't your firm have some responsibility for Captain Crew's debt?
Absolutely not. I've carried out my legal duties. Beyond that, Brawls and Skimford have no obligation towards Captain Crew or his daughter.
I have no obligation either. I've been robbed and cheated and made a fool of. I have a mind to turn you into the streets right now.
No, sister!
I wouldn't do that, Miss Minchin. Word might get around how you made one of your pupils a beggar. I suggest you keep the girl. She seems like a healthy child. You should be able to get a good deal's worth of work. Good day.
There's been some terrible mistake, I know it. My father's been unwell, but surely he's recovered now, and when he returns to London, he'll straighten everything out. About the mines and the money.
Amelia, go fetch a black dress from one of the servants. Sarah, your father will not be returning, ever. He is dead. He died from a brain fever. You are completely alone in this world.
Stay together. You gotta stay together. gotta go eat outside.
So we have come full circle, you and I. We are back where we began. The girls sent scurrying out of this pitiful attic. Sarah's story, the last shoot's been to the girls, unfinished.
It's easy to be nice to people, Emily, when everything's given to you. But when everything's taken away, that's the real challenge. You've been snatched from the soft world we dwelt in and thrown into a desperate prison. All that I know is gone.
You've got me, Miss Sarah. For always.
So I do. Thank you, Becky, for reminding me.
I should have snuck back here, and I know it. But I was hoping you'd tell me how the story turned out. You know, the one with the princess and prince and the king and the tiger.
You shall have to finish it for yourself, Becky. I'm not so good at telling stories anymore.
I'm not sorry about your promise. I am. But I know the best part of you is still there, underneath the sadness. She'll come back. She has to. She's the best part of my life, too. I was going to give you this on your birthday, but things did get muddled that day. See? It's a pincushion. Miss Amelia, she gave me the flannel. She gave me the pins, too, and helped me spell out happy birthday with them.
It's quite wonderful.
It'd just be a trifle, miss.
No, it's the gift beyond compare. You made it with your own 2 hands.
That I did. Though my hands ain't pretty to look at.
Your hands are like mine. We work hard, and that's an honorable thing.
We've come back, Sarah, even though Miss Minchin told us we can't even look at you. We can't even breathe the same air as you.
I don't care. I'm not going to lose the things you gave me, Sarah. The courage, the strength to stand up for myself.
Miss Minchin told the servants you've been a brat with your nose in the air and to give you the hardest work.
We've heard rumors from the kitchen that you can't even sit at the servants' table.
It's all true. Miss Sarah's just a pinch of dirt under a gentleman's boot.
But surely, your pretends must help, Sarah.
I have a few words to say now, Lottie. They seem to grow fainter, and fainter still. My only pretend now was to make it through another day.
Then we shall pretend for you, Sarah. We shall look about this place with different eyes, the way you taught us to look at our own lives.
You have a lovely window. You're so close to the stars, it's as if you could just pull them all down.
Not all of them. Just one. Just one special star. Papa's star. Sometimes people poke their heads up through their attic windows. It's quite funny to see them pop up like puppets. And my favorite's the large family.
How big are they?
They're not big. There's just so many of them. I've counted the parents and 8 children so far.
You live in a nest, Sarah, with the birds and with the trees. That could be your pretend.
I'm not in a nest, but rather locked away in a cell. I know. I'm in the Bastille.
Is that a place?
It's a prison, a famous prison in Paris. Let me help you tell your story, Sarah. The French Revolution is rising and roaring all about us. The poor have thrown the nobility into the Bastille. The poor hate the rich because they treated their servants like slaves. But as rich as you were, Sarah, you treated your servants with kindness. But still, they tossed you into this dreadful cell. Becky is with you.
I'm gonna pretend.
You're countess and smart and beautiful. All heroines are beautiful.
I know. Ermengarde and I smuggle food up to you and warm clothes. So we're heroines too.
And beautiful?
Of course.
I like being a prisoner with you, miss, and being beautiful and all. But I don't feel right being your equal like. To be your servant, that's what I want.
All right, then. You can be my handmaiden. You will brush my hair and care for my jewels.
Hold fast to our story, Sarah. The way you did to your other pretends, like being a soldier. You may be in a cell now, but soon your fortune will change.
When the girls came back to see me tonight, Papa, it gave me a spurt of happiness, a spot of hope. But it disappeared when they left. I try to be your little princess, but I can't do it. I'm falling into the very hardness of this place, into the very meanness of Miss Minchin. I can still smell your pipe tobacco, Papa, and hear your voice. I will never again feel as safe as I did when you once held me. My papa's gone from me, Emily. Do you hear me? He died thousands of miles away without me to give him any comfort. I shall never see him again in this world. And I don't know what to do, how to live. I didn't think anyone could take away my stories, Papa, but it's cold as old bones here, and my pretends are fast fading away. There's no magic in an attic.
Of all the things Sarah Crew was forced to do, running errands was the worst. The streets were dirty and damp. The mud was thick. She knew what a sight she made. People stared at her full of pity, and that she could not bear. She moved through fog and mist, head down, eyes on the ground, heart beating in shame, hope gone. And then one day, fate stepped in, as it has a way of doing, for coming down the street were some of the Large family.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to block your path. I just needed to rest for a moment.
You probably don't know me. Well, you probably don't know us, but we know you. Well, we don't know you, but we've seen you.
He means we've seen you walking down the street outside of our house.
That's it. We'd like you to have this 6 pence.
I must decline. I'm not a beggar.
Of course not, but we'd still like you to accept the 6 pence.
It's a gift, so you can buy some food.
Not that you need it.
Of course not.
But maybe we might bring you a warmer coat.
Not that you need it.
Of course not.
We could bring you better boots, too. Not that you need it. Of course not.
Your offer is most gracious, but I'm the daughter of a very fine and honorable soldier. And if I must go on without a meal or walk with holes in my shoes, then I shall bear it like a soldier, like my father would have me do.
Then perhaps you'd accept this coin in honor of your father as a tribute to him.
Under those conditions, I shall accept your gift. Thank you. You're most kind. My father would like you.
She's definitely not a beggar. No beggar ever talked like that.
She's so fair of face, even under the dirt and soot. Even I could see that. She behaves like a lady, born and bred.
She looks woefully tired, but whenever she walks by her house, she looks inside and smiles.
She is someone. I know it.
Everyone is someone.
How do you know? We don't even look at the beggars nor the poor people who shuffle by us. I don't think of them as real people, even our own servants. We treat them kindly, but we know nothing of their lives. It never really occurs to us that they might have hopes and dreams, just like us. From now on, I'm going to treat everyone as if they really are someone.
Sarah didn't know now that the Large family wondered about her as she wondered about them. They called her the girl who is not a beggar. Are we ready again for the long finger of fate to stir the waters?
It can't be. It simply can't be.
But of course it was. Magic was finding its way up and down the streets, glowing up from the wretched mud.
I resolved not to spend my 6 pence, but here are 4 pence. I can buy 4 buns, and the bakery's just there. But what if someone dropped the coins and is coming back for them? Ma'am, I'm sorry to call you from your work, but I found these lying outside your door. Did someone report missing 4 pence?
Bless me, dearie. There's not many who would come looking for the owner of a 4 pence. You found the coins? That means they were meant for you.
I'm not sorry, ma'am, to come to your shop. I've never done it before.
Maybe you can't read. No beggars in this establishment.
I'll bother you no more. I just wondered if you or the miss had any spare coins. Even just 1 or 2. Perhaps some old bread.
A moment ago, I wouldn't have had any coins to spend. Now I do. 4 pence. I'd like 4 buns, please. 2 buns apiece.
Bless me, I've had a good day. Here you go, 6 buns, for the joy of all of us.
Now we'll both be warm. Well, almost warm. There you go. You mustn't gobble. Although I probably would. I have. I know what a rumbling stomach feels like.
I once had pride enough not to tear into my food like a dog with a bone, but that disappeared a long while ago. I did have a proper family once. My ma'am and my pa. Save this for later.
You'll eat it now. You can take another one for later.
But, miss, that leaves you with...
It leaves me quite well. Go on, tell me about your family.
Pa'd out of the cough and sickness. Folks said if he had a little more sunshine, he would have lived.
My father's lost me too. He's my first thought in the morning and my last thought at night. Here, you're shivering. Lean on me.
Ma'am tried every which way to get a job, but folks wouldn't hire her on. They didn't want her coming to work dragging a child, so Ma'am started begging. She couldn't think of nothing else. One day the constable arrested her for loitering. Do you know what that means, miss?
Standing about with no place to go.
Dirtying up the street, the constable said. He drug her off. Ma'am gave me the few coins she had and this tambourine, and she told me to run. He couldn't catch the both of us. He took her to the workhouse. People get ground there till there's nothing left that matters.
Here, take these 2. You need them. When great wealth is bestowed, or even 4pence, it must be shared.
I'm that grateful for the food, miss. It's a miracle, it is.
The baker helped me, so I can help you. That is a miracle. Or magic. Or maybe they're one and the same. It does make me happy to have something to share with another. More happy than eating the buns myself. Perhaps you can go into the shop, just for a bit, to get warm. Now I need to go, or I shall get a scolding. You must keep the shawl, to remember our magic.
How many buns did the girl give you?
5, ma'am.
She kept only 1 for herself? What a strange child. Come inside, girl. I'll give you a decent meal and somewhere to sleep tonight. In return, you can do a few chores for me. Once we wash the dirt off. I had a feeling if you had a few meat pies in that stomach, you'd be a hard worker.
Look, Emily, at the sunset. My sunset, because I'm the only person in the house who can see it. Only I can see the crimson clouds melting and drifting, changing into mountains and castles and fields of fleecy sheep. But tonight it's different. Tonight the sky is purple. It makes me feel special. No, it makes me feel that something special is about to happen.
Excuse me, miss.
You are Lascar!
I am indeed. My name is Ram Das. You are my neighbor. My employer and I moved in yesterday.
I'm Sarah. It's so good to see you. It makes me think of India. Who's your employer? Is he an army officer? Maybe a merchant? Is he young? Is he old? Would you like to come in?
Yes, indeed. This is where you live?
Yes, this is my cocoon.
Mr. Thomas Carrisford is my employer. He lived in India for a bit to tend to his business. He's a good man, but he's been ill for quite some time. He needs much rest. He's on a search. He's just one sliver of chance in the vast universe to find the person he's seeking.
You have a monkey.
We do indeed. He is Mr. Carrisford's delight, but he's a stubborn little creature. He goes where he pleases, when he pleases.
Perhaps he'll visit me one day.
Perhaps, at his own time and pace. My employer and I moved here because my employer is fond of the Carmichael family.
The large family. I call them that because there's so many of them. They always seem so happy together.
They do indeed. I stopped by your room to tell you that a large mouse was running about my room today. When he saw me, he ran across the ledge and into your lodging.
Melchizedek. That's what I've named him. He and I are compatriots. He's always hunting for food to feed his family, and I give him what scraps I can. I'm usually hungry too.
Miss Minchin does not feed you?
And not willingly. I have to depend on the scraps the cook leaves out for me. Some nights she does, some nights she doesn't. Miss Mia smuggles food to me whenever she can. But you see, I'm able to stand it because I'm imprisoned in the Bastille.
Are you then?
Yes. I was ever so kind to my servants, but I was still cast in this prison. It's dark and damp and dank. Slimy water slides down the cracked walls, and the floor is stone.
But in spite of all this horror, you still stay strong.
Yes! You're a kindred spirit. I knew it. And that's why I told you might pretend.
Ah, yes. You know the secret, as I do. The world rests on stories, and everyone has a story.
When I was first put up here, I thought I lost the power of pretending. It made me not myself. But perhaps the pretends are coming back. Sometimes I pretend I have a thick rug on the floor, and in the corner, a carton full of books. I curl up on soft cushions and read as long as I like. My bed has a silken cover, and there's a fire blazing in the grate.
Ah, yes, that would make a fine chamber. I will tell Mr. Carrisford about your pretends. Perhaps it'll push away the darkness for a while.
Do you think good thoughts can make their way through windows and doors and walls?
I do, for I've seen such things in India. I believe our thoughts are stronger than brick and mortar.
Then I should think good thoughts about your employer.
Good night.
Oh, please do come again. I get lonely up here.
I shall certainly come again to this prison in the sky.
You have no good news for Mr. Carrisford, do you, Father?
No. And I had wanted so much to bring him some comfort. We had that one lead, that one clue, that the girl could speak French like a native. I was so hopeful that Paris would be the end of our search.
I can see it in your face, Carmichael. The girl's not in France.
No, my friend, she is not.
Where to go now? What to do now?
Madame Pachal did tell me that a Russian couple had visited her school recently and adopted one of the girls who had been left an orphan.
Russia? Do you think that might be where the girl is?
I think I must find out. If your father has no objections, I will send him out again as my emissary. Can I ask you to do that for me, Carmichael? Journey so far away?
Of course. If one of my own children were missing, I'd go on searching till I found her. You've been a good friend for many years. I can't do any less for you. But I'm fearful for you. For your health. Your search is consuming your life.
My search has become my life.
Perhaps you'll meet the Tsar, Papa.
Don't be silly, Nora.
Maybe you'll ride in a sleigh through the snow.
It all sounds so romantic.
It's not romantic, it's sad.
Ah, my practical Janet. It is sad. A man searching the world for one girl, one singular child in a universe full of children.
I must know, Mr. Carrisford.
You must always know everything.
That's because there's so much to know.
Agreed. Ask me what you like, Nora.
I'd like to know the whole story of this girl you seek.
I'm afraid I'm a bit tired to take that on, and it saddens me still. I suppose it always will. But Ram Dass is a born storyteller. I will have him tell you the tale.
I will try to tell you the truth, seen through my own eyes and heart. You know what a successful businessman Mr. Carrisford is. Like many others of his kind, he enjoys seeking out new opportunities.
So should I.
This is not your story, Nora.
It is, in a way. Real love, true happiness. We all search for that.
Mr. Carrisford was approached by a man who said he had several tracts of land containing diamond mines. Mr. Carrisford was most intrigued.
I was so sure of success. I had my old friend from school days become my partner. He already had quite a bit of money, but of course, the thought of diamond mines stirred his spirit. We both poured our fortunes into the venture, but at first, it seemed like the man we trusted was a swindler. We were told there were no mines and never had been.
Perhaps because of this disappointment, Mr. Carrisford and his partner both became ill with jungle fever. It is a common thing in India. It affects the brain as well as the body. Mr. Carrisford's partner was the sickest. His body worn out, his spirit broken, he was half mad. He raved on and on about his daughter, his little princess. But he gave us no clue as to where she was, what country, or what school. One night, he fled from the hospital, crying that he must find his little princess. I brought him back, but he died soon after.
Then it was discovered that there really were diamond mines. The man we had given the money to was honest. It had just taken him longer than he expected to find the mines. I can't say more.
What haunts Mr. Carrisford the most is that his partner died thinking his friend was a fraud, thinking he had left his daughter at the hands of an unkind world.
And I did. I even left her a pauper. Even now she may be begging in the streets.
You cannot blame yourself, Thomas. You were sick when this all happened. We will find the girl. I promise you.
It's a reckless promise.
We will search to the ends of the earth to find her.
We will not be going anywhere.
Then I shall keep Papa in my thoughts and in my prayers, and Mr. Carrisford, and the girl he's searching for.
Sometimes I dream of him, my partner. He always asks the same question. Thomas, where is my little princess? Where is she?
I have an idea, Mr. Carrisford. Until we find the girl you were searching for, why don't we help the girl next door?
We call her the girl who is not a beggar.
She might as well be. I see her when she does not see me. There's many a girl that would break down the way they have her living. She works day and night. She used to scavenge for her own food. She gets through things with her pretends. Right now, she's pretending she's in the Bastille, but I doubt if even that prison would be as depressing as her attic room.
I like your idea, Ram Dass. Indeed, it's a godsend. It might help me with the terrible thoughts I'm having. Yes, Ram Dass, we will help the girl on the other side of the wall.
Surprise, Sarah! We've decided to give you a magnificent feast.
How is this possible? We told Miss Amelia, and she thought it a grand idea. And sort of tell her sister nothing.
Miss Minchin never comes up here.
And everyone else is asleep. My mom sent me this huge hamper full of treats.
We searched all around the attic for cups and plates and such.
Becky told us how it is. You're so strong for so long.
But now you're so weak and weary, miss.
I am. But the worst part is that I'm feeling hopeless. A real princess would be strengthened by adversity.
That's why we've planned a surprise for you, Sarah. We decided that you're no longer in the Bastille, but you're still a countess. Lottie and I have decided to travel to your palatial estate for a magnificent banquet.
I'm still your handmaiden, miss. That's my calling.
Becky, I deem you my lady's maid forever.
I've been doing some reading on Queen Marie Antoinette. Becky, you must powder your mistress's hair until it is white. You must make it so high she can barely fit through the door. You must paint her cheeks and lips with rouge. You must add 2 beauty marks.
Let's pretend after we eat
red biscuits,
chocolate
truffles.
I didn't know there was that much food in the world. It's Miss Minchin.
I told you, Miss Minchin. I told you they were planning something. I heard them whispering.
Even when Lavinia told me, I didn't believe her. I couldn't imagine such flagrant disregard of the rules. Becky, you will leave this house tonight, immediately, with no references.
Miss Minchin, you cannot punish Becky.
Oh, can't I?
It was all my doing, all my idea, all my food.
Pish posh, Ermengarde. You're not smart enough to hatch a plot like this.
Oh, yes, I am. My father says I'm quite the smartest girl in the world, and I'm certainly smart enough to know that you're nothing but a howling, toffee-nosed, stuck-up traitor.
What do you think your father would say to you, Ermengarde, about language like that?
I think he would say I was quite right to stand up for the rights of the less fortunate.
Insolent! That's what you are! All of you! Insolent! Well, don't just stand there like statues. Becky, clean up this mess. Ermengarde, Lottie, to your rooms.
Come, Lottie. You may also follow us, Lavinia.
But frankly, we don't give a fig if you do.
You shall have nothing to eat tomorrow, Sarah. That will be your punishment. Pray tell, Sarah, why you're staring at me that way. Has my face gone green?
I wonder what my papa would say if he could see me now. See this room? See you.
But your papa is dead, isn't he? You can wait forever, my dear, but no one is coming to your rescue.
I slipped in the mud today, Papa. All my parcels tumbled onto the street. I tried to clean them. The cook yelled at me and said I was clumsy and stupid. I walked the streets with my head bowed and my shoulders slumped, like some poor imitation of a person. And I kept the sixpence as a symbol of who I am. But it's oh so hard to do what you asked of me. Keep my head high and spirit strong.
It is time for the magic.
At first I thought I was dreaming. I was so warm and I could smell toast and bacon. But the food was really there, all of it, on a beautiful table covered with a snow-white cloth. I called Becky to join me.
It was a true feast. I learned that word last night.
There was a thick, soft carpet under my feet. In the corner, a carton full of books. There were large, soft cushions on the floor to curl up on and read. The bed had a silken cover. There was even a fire in the old rusty grate. Actually, it was everything I dreamt of having.
But who put it all there?
I don't know. There was just a note to the little girl in the attic from a friend. A friend. I have a friend beyond these walls. Perhaps I can have a life, too. Beyond my chores, outside this house.
Whatever happens today won't seem near as awful. I'll just remember eating every crumb sitting for that warm fire.
I told everyone about last night, your silly party.
I didn't think it was silly. I thought it was grand. I'd wish I'd been invited.
They didn't get to eat any of the food.
It's odd then. They look so happy.
It's a trick. Or something. You should be absolutely miserable knowing what you're facing.
Don't you remember? You are both in disgrace.
Of course we remember, Miss Minchin.
Of course we remember, Miss Minchin. How dare you two go about looking so happy?
I'm delighted to see them looking well.
Delighted? Delighted by their defiance? Girls, to the library. Sarah, Becky, to your chores. I will find the cause of your happiness, Miss Sarah Crew, and when I do, you will be in serious trouble.
Yes, Miss Minchin.
Sister, you can't go around punishing people because they're happy.
But why should they be happy, especially Sarah? That's the real question.
It is indeed. You've certainly done your best to keep them from feeling that way.
Of course, magic can be a wily thing. Sarah was worried what she would find that night when she climbed her stairs to the attic room. But it was all there, and more. A beautiful lamp that gave the room a rosy glow, a delicious dinner laid out on the table. On the second day, there were goose-down pillows and warm, soft blankets. On the third day, there were beautiful pictures and silken hangings placed on the walls. And so it went. Each day something was added to the room, and always there was food. And always there was a note to the little girl in the attic from a friend. Sarah could carry out her tasks, muck through the mud, people could be rude, the cook could be mean, and it didn't matter, for Sarah knew there would be magic in her room. And then there was the day that the clothes were placed in Sarah's room.
Where did those clothes come from? Have you been stealing?
Oh no, they're just part of the magic.
Just more of her silly blathering. Do you think she has a rich relative we don't know about? If so, we must contact him or her immediately. We might be able to redeem some of the money I lost.
You redeemed that a long while ago. Perhaps it's just as Sarah said. It's magic.
One day, in her attic, Sarah said aloud that she would like some writing paper and a pen. The next day, her request was filled.
I hope you will not think it is impolite that I should write this note to you when you wish to keep yourself a secret. Sometimes I think I shall wait and hide and see who's providing me with all of the gifts. But I can't. I mustn't. I know that if magic steps into your life, you cannot question it, for then the magic will disappear. You must just enjoy it. But I'm so grateful to you, and so happy, and so is Becky. I share all my new riches with her. So please just accept my heaven-sent thanks from the little girl in the attic.
The next day, the note was gone.
You do not have to tell me the outcome of your journey, my friend. I see the answer to my question not only in your eyes, but in the faces of your children.
We are truly sorry, sir.
You're right, Thomas. The Russian child is not the girl we were looking for. But we will begin another search.
I'm not sure I have the heart to continue.
The girl next door is very happy. We must think of that.
Is she? It brings me great pleasure to hear our life has changed.
And just then, fate stepped in, as it so often does, in the guise of a monkey.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry to interrupt.
This is the girl from next door, Mr. Carrisford.
It is so good to meet you.
Thank you, sir. I came to tell you that your monkey is curled up in my room, happily sleeping. I know he's very temperamental, so I didn't wake him.
Spoiled is what he is.
I left him there, but I can bring him to your Lascar.
How do you know what a Lascar is?
I was born in India, sir. My father was in the army. I used to be a student at Miss Minchin's seminary, but my papa lost his money. Miss Minchin took me on as a student, a servant.
Less than a servant, sir. Less than even a scullery maid.
How did your father lose his money?
But he didn't lose it himself. He had a friend. Well, Papa thought the man was his friend. He brought my father into his scheme, took his money, and then lost it. Papa just trusted his friend too much, but that's how he was.
Perhaps his friend meant no harm. Perhaps it was all a mistake, a misunderstanding. What scheme was your father involved in?
Diamond mines.
Did your father die of brain fever?
Why, yes, sir.
Your name, dear. What is your name?
Sarah Crew. I'm the daughter of Captain Ralph Crew.
And your father, he called you the little princess, did he not?
He did, sir. But how did you know?
Carmichael, this is the child. This is the child.
And what child would that be, sir?
The child I've been searching for. I was your father's partner, but I didn't betray him, nor lose his money. The diamond mines are real, but by the time I found out, your papa was dead. I've sent Mr. Carmichael everywhere to find you, to France and Russia.
I was always here, just on the other side of the wall. Are you all right, sir?
Too much happiness made me quite weak for the moment.
You and Ram Dass. You've been the magic.
We have indeed.
You don't know. You couldn't know. How your gifts helped me. I was almost lost, with no sense of myself. And then the magic appeared.
You have given me life, child.
You have given me hope.
So here you are.
Remove your hands from the girl.
This girl is a charity case I had fobbed off on me. I had no idea she was bothering you. Be assured, sir, she will be severely punished. And take off those clothes, Sarah. They are not suitable for your chores.
Those clothes came from Ram Dass and myself.
And great quantities of good food.
And many other pleasant surprises you never climbed the stairs to see.
But why on earth would you give those things to this girl?
Sarah, as it turns out, is the daughter of my partner, Captain Ralph Crew. I have been searching for her for 2 years, ever since her father died. Captain Crew was my partner in the diamond mines.
So you're the swindler!
He's not a swindler. There never was a swindler. The mines are real. But my papa died before Mr. Carrisford could tell him.
So, her father's money from the mines?
All belongs to Sarah. Of course, her fortune has increased quite a bit over these years and will continue to do so as time goes on.
Sarah, dear, I haven't spoiled you, I know, but I was always fond of you.
Were you? I haven't noticed that.
It's time to come home, Sarah. You may visit with Mr. Carrisford later.
Sarah is home, Miss Minchin. I am her guardian.
Captain Crew left his daughter in my care. I will not allow her to leave my school, and her money should be placed in my bank account. I am quite sure I have the law on my side.
I believe the law will be on Mr. Carrisford's side, sister. I'm so happy for you, dear. Sarah was never anything but clever and good and would have repaid you with kindness, but you didn't show her any. I hope Mr. Carrisford spreads the tale of how you treated Sarah all about the city.
But what if all our pupils are taken away?
I hope they are. Then we can start anew. I know you have a heart, Maria Minchin, the kind that beats away in your body, but your real heart is squeezed so tight, no joy can come in, no love can seep out. But perhaps we can try a pretend or two and see if it helps.
Sarah, I know I can't replace your father, but I can try to give you all that you've been lacking these last unhappy years. And I promise you, I will love my little princess in the best way I can.
I do have one request. About Becky.
Of course, the other little prison in the Bastille.
I would like her to live with us.
She shall be your personal assistant.
Oh no, you must call her my handmaiden. That would make her very happy.
With Sarah at his side, Mr. Carrisford was soon well again, and the large family often came to visit. Of course, Lottie and Ermengarde came to visit as well. Sarah no longer needed Emily and gave her to Lottie. Eventually, all the schoolgirls came to visit Sarah. Once, even Lavinia slinked into the mansion, but she didn't smile. Our journey is almost complete, but I have some final magic for you.
Bless me, what can I do for you two? I know you.
You once gave me 6 buns for 4 pence.
Indeed I did. I'll always remember you giving your food away. I must say, dearie, your situation is much improved.
This is my guardian, Mr. Carrisford. He's very generous.
And Sarah is very special.
Have you seen the little girl again? Do you know how she is? She isn't...
Bless me, dearie, she is quite well. Anna! I started out giving her odd jobs, and now she's my assistant. Bless me, if things didn't go well for the two of you.
You are the girl. You once gave me 5 buns and only took 1 for yourself. I could never forget you.
I have an idea, ma'am.
Bless me, dearie, it's Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown, I thought perhaps Anna could pass out bread and biscuits to the children on the street in need of a good meal. I thought she might like to do it, since we both know how it feels to be hungry.
It will be my delight to pay for it.
I should love to do that, and I should like to keep the shawl. It's wrapped me in the magic since the day I met you.
I've discovered several things since last we were together, Papa. I've learned that it's better to be a princess outside your palace than inside. Outside, you can see the suffering and the sadness and try to help your people. I'm fast becoming a champion of the poor and downtrodden, Papa, as you said I would be. There are so many children in the streets of London who need my help. I thought my heart would break from missing you, but instead it grew and stretched. The more I came to love Becky, the more love I had for Ermengarde and Lottie and Ram Dass and Miss Amelia and the little beggar girl and now Mr. Carrisford. But most of all, I've learned the best magic comes from within. It's what we use to fill the empty places in our soul.
And never had Sarah Crewe looked more like a princess than she did right then.